Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Heavy Water 77. I'm Jerry, and with me, as always, the very young and talented and more knowledgeable than me, Joseph Staub. How you doing, dude?
Doing good, doing good. Excited to be here, back at it, keeping trucking through these solo albums and
Yeah.
Tommy.
Yeah, like I said, sorry we've been away with holidays and all that shit. We're gonna get back on track here. It's mostly my fault, so if you're like dying for a video from us, which it's my fault, not Joseph's, so you can leave me some bad comments in the section. Say, F you, Jerry, this and that. I want more Heavy Water 77. But anyway, we are going, like I said, we are knee deep in the, yeah, I don't know what you want to call it, the solo album era
Not the
of
hoopla,
Styx.
thankfully,
Yeah,
but
not as bad as that. I was going to say that, but I'm like, I held myself back. Um, we're doing our next Tommy Shaw album, and it is What If. So, Joseph, you got anything on this album, man?
yeah. We're definitely getting to the point of these albums where there is not a lot of background information to be had.
Yeah.
Uh, it's that point where I don't even have a date that this album came out. It just said 1985. I just guessing because of when the singles were released. I have to imagine that it came out in late '85 because the two singles were released in September and December. So I'd have to imagine somewhere in that period, using my skills of deduction, putting this album in the last quarter of 1985. But it was recorded and released in 1985 in Chicago. It was produced by Tommy Shaw and Richie Kanata, who plays keyboards and saxophone on this album, and is probably, other than Tommy Shaw, the most famous person on this album. He was in Billy Joel's band in the late 70s.
Oh,
He played saxophone. So think about stuff like Scenes from an Italian Restaurant. That is him playing saxophone on that. So
good to know.
he definitely plays some very good saxophone on this album. I do actually think that that is one of the better aspects of this album. But yeah, so they co-produced this album. It was the final Tommy Shaw album to be released on A&M Records, and it went to number 87 on the Billboard charts, which means it did about jack shit.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's about all background I have on this thing.
Yeah, and maybe that's the best thing leaving A&M because his next two albums I think are really good. So when we get to that, we'll talk about that. But yeah, I mean, if you guys know the exact date, leave a comment. We'd appreciate that. And I looked too; I could hardly find anything on this album. So I'm glad you were able to find that out. But let's get into the tracks, man. Let's get started out with the leadoff track, "Jealousy."
Yeah, and here we go. Yeah, this is what most of this album is, and that is a generic pop song. Very, very generic pop song. Thankfully, there are some on this album that do it better than this. Uh, you can tell it's trying very hard to be catchy, and it is not. You can tell he's really trying with that chorus, and I am not a fan of the chorus. It didn't grab me at all. This was the second single from the album, so maybe this had something to do with why the album didn't sell well. I think there are better examples of things you could have released from this album later on. I don't think this is a great example. I think this is a poor choice to lead off the album, in all honesty. Not one of the better tracks on the album. Um, when you come into this album, I figured out very quickly that I was going to have to just kind of accept that this is what it was going to be, because a lot of the tracks sound the same. There are some good ones. This is not one of them.
Yeah. I'm trying because I was alive in this time. I'm trying to put myself in the 80s when I do some of these albums. So I'm like, because the opinions, they change as some things age and some things don't age properly. So with that being said, I think this song is just okay. I do love the vocal delivery. I don't think it's bad. And the lyrics I think are cool. You kind of had that Head Games vibe in the song from Foreigner a little bit
Mm-hmm.
in the pre-chorus. Um, yeah, it just still has that dated, a lot of that keyboard in it, man. It's like, Tommy, man, break out that guitar.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You get rid of that. I know you're a fan of the sax solo, but put a ripping guitar solo in there instead of the sax solo, man. It would probably be much better, in my
This
opinion.
is not one of the songs that I thought the sax solo was particularly great. So I would be fully, wholeheartedly in support of putting a great guitar solo in here. There are much better uses of both the guitar and the saxophone on this album later on than
Right.
this song.
Right. All right, so let's move on to the next track. What if Reno's theme, whatever. I don't know what that means, but anyway, what do you got on it?
All right, so I do know what that means. This song was written for the movie Remo Williams' The Adventure Begins. Remo
Shit,
Williams
really?
was a
Yeah.
comic book character. Um, they made a movie in 1985, and this was written as the theme song for it. Very Christopher Cross as an Arthur's theme, the best that you can do.
Yeah.
Remo's theme, what if? Um, it sounds like an 80s soundtrack song. It really does. It definitely sounds that it's catchier than the first track. I'll give it that. Still nothing special though. The keyboards really take over in the middle, and it's that section of the keyboards are just blaring. And I think somebody turned up the settings on the Casio for that one, but there is a good guitar solo on this. I will give him that. That goes into a good guitar solo. What the first track was missing, this track at least has more of. So I do think that this is a better song than Jealousy, but it's still nothing special.
Yeah. Yeah, we got some female vocals in this song as well, which are nice, I guess. We start out with a pretty, it starts out with a pretty cool guitar riff. I'm thinking, you know what, maybe this
Yeah.
would be cool. But again, it's just another middle of the road song. I really think Tommy's vocals do sound good all through this album, but the song itself as a whole, man, just I don't know. He's got a really nice low register in parts of this song, which I really enjoy. But again, it's like missing so much. It's missing Tommy Shaw, in my opinion. And it just, and like I said, I'm trying to put myself in that 80s mode here, but it's hard to sometimes with this. There's probably a reason why I didn't have this album growing up or listen to it much because this falls flat for me. But it's just another average song. So I'm with you. Let's move on to the next song, which is Reach for the Bottle.
All right. So this is a definitely a break from the first two songs. This is much more of a bluesy rocker. This is more of what I expect from Tommy. Unfortunately, there is not a lot of this on this album. Great vocals and guitar on this one. This is one where I really do like the sax solo at the end. I think it adds a lot to this song. Definitely one of the better tracks on this album for me. It was a welcome break from the keyboards on this one. I was happy to hear that they broke it up a little bit. I do think this is one of the better tracks on the album.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like the piano in the song. I think it sounds cool. And I love Tommy. There's some parts of the song where Tommy sounds like he's really straining at times. And I like it, actually. I like the way it sounds. And at the same time, he reaches these incredible highs in his vocals. So vocally, this is an incredible song. Great solo. Got some more horns again. But we need more of his guitar playing.
Yeah. And
We
actually,
need
I did
more.
read that it was actually the Earth, Wind, and Fire horn section on this album.
Okay. But I just want to hear more Tommy's guitar playing. He is a great guitar player, so I want to hear more of that. But yeah, it's a good tune. So let's move on to the next track, which is Friendly Advice. Ooh.
Uh-huh. Well, Dennis has some competition. Oh boy. This song fucking sucks. This is one of the worst songs that I've heard covering these last few albums, in all honesty. And it sucks that it comes from Tommy, but this song is garbage. The keyboards on this are some of the worst I've heard. Um, it sounds like the intro sounds like the soundtrack for a C tier 80s action movie, probably starring Gene Simmons. Like that's where we're on Never Too Young to Die levels of songs here. Like that's where we're at. Uh Not good, not good at all. This is really cheesy, really it just sucks. Tommy doesn't even sound good on this one. It just they have those weird like modulated vocals and it's just not a good song at all. This could have easily been left off the album, but this is something that was right up the 1985 alley, so Tommy's chasing trends and it sucks that's what's going on.
Yeah. There's absolutely a lot of stuff I love about the 80s, but this song has a lot I don't like about the 80s. What the hell is this, man? Is this the Village People? I didn't understand that weird beginning with the what the hell is he saying? I don't know what they're saying there, but
No
oh,
idea. No
this song
idea.
is just awful, dude. It's just weird all the way through. It's just not. I want to think that Tommy's just like, look, write something, I'll put my name on it or whatever. I'm going out and having a drink or something. Just and they put this one on. because I'm shit.
I think he might have written this
Tommy.
by himself. That's the
Oh
thing.
no.
Because there's only two songs on this album that weren't solely credited to Tommy Shaw. And I'm pretty sure this is one that was
Oh,
solely credited to Tommy Shaw.
just fucking weird. I don't get this song and do not like it at all, man. So we'll get by this shit. We'll go to the next song real fast. But this is not a test.
The keys work a little bit better for me on this one, and there's some cool guitar work, but the lyrics are awful on this one. And
Really?
I really didn't like it. I'm not a fan of this song. I thought this was really just not a good tune for me.
Yeah, I dig this too, man. It's got a little darker topic about, because in that time period, the Soviet threat with the nuclear war and all that shit was very on everybody's mind, let's just say. It doesn't suck. It's not the greatest, don't get me wrong. But again, we got a pretty good guitar solo. Um, but yeah, you're right. It's better, but man, I'm still waiting for that great Tommy Shaw song, and I haven't heard it so far on this one, man. So let's move on to the next track. We'll flip the album over, correct? Yeah.
Yep.
See Me Now.
And we're back to the out of place keyboard sounds. Um, and it's funny. The last song, I thought the keyboard sounded a little bit better, but I wasn't a fan of the song. This one, I think the keyboard sound a little bit more annoying, but I actually like the song. I think this is a decent pop tune. One of the better songs on this album to me. Tommy sounds great on it. It's just, it's not what I want from Tommy, but for this album, it's towards the top of the heap, unfortunately.
Yeah. If John Cougar and Survivor had a baby, this would be the song because it starts out with that like Cherry Bomb beginning, the sound for the song Cherry Bomb by John Cougar. And
Mm-hmm.
the chorus kind of sounds like High on You a little bit. So
It does,
this is the
which I do like that song. So
yeah, I do too. But yeah, again, we're at that mediocre stage yet again. The flow of the song, I think, is a little bit better. But again, I can take it or leave it. It's nice. And I hate saying a Tommy Shaw song is just nice because I think he's capable of so much better. Again, I'm trying to put myself back in that time period, man. And it's just, I'm hearing everything I didn't like about that time period in this album so far. I hate the fact that I am ripping on one of my favorite performers, musicians of all time. But as I always said, if we're lying, we're not being truthful we're not being respectful to the artist, in my opinion, anyway. So we'll move on from that one mercifully and go to True Confessions.
I don't know about mercifully because this is just the same song again, but worse. It sounds the exact same. It's just another pop tune, and this is worse than the last one. This is not a good song, and there's not even any great guitar work on this one to save it either. Like they have a little guitar solo at the end, but it is nothing. It's nothing that would save a song that is very subpar. And it really, like you said, it hurts me to say this about Tommy because pretty much every song that Tommy wrote with Styx, I love.
Yeah.
And so far, we're 2 for 2 on albums of his that I'm not a huge fan of. Because I know you liked Girls with Guns more than I did, but even neither one of us were really over the moon about it. But
Yeah.
thankfully, I do know that there is light at the end of the tunnel here because I know what's about to happen.
Uh-huh.
I've heard a lot of good things about his next solo album, and then of course we know what happens once 1990 rolls around. He's back on top form for a decent chunk after that. So I just wish there wasn't this little period in the mid 80s where everything that he complained about with Styx,
Pretty
he was
much. Yeah.
doing.
Yep.
And it hurts me to say that because I love Tommy Shaw so much. He is one of my favorite musicians, but this is just not good. It's not,
Yeah.
and I'm hopeful, and at least I know that my hope is well founded that things are going to get better here soon with Tommy.
Yeah. Yeah. I think a lot of that was probably A&M too. I'm sure they wanted that, 80s sound probably.
Especially since this is his last album, that would not
Yep.
surprise me.
Yeah, I agree. This song is absolutely dreadful, man. I would say possibly the worst on the album, but what the fuck is the other song's name?
Yeah, well, I
Friendly
don't know.
Friendly
Friendly
Advice.
advice. Yeah,
Oof. That's definitely a battle for the worst. And the lyrics on here, True Confessions on the answering machine. If I'd left you the true confessions about this song in your answering machine, Tommy, you'd probably hate me. It's god awful, dude. Again, just nothing to like about it. It's just, eh. it's like you're just packing it in for this album, maybe because it was just a requirement or something he had to do. But man,
Yeah, because it came out
very
awful
disappointed.
quickly after Girls with
Yeah,
Guns. It
yeah,
wasn't like it was a long time after that album.
yeah. Very, 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 very disappointed in this album. So let's move on to the next song. Count on You.
This was decent. It's a pop ballad. It's decent. I wish it had a more anthemic chorus. So the chorus is a little anticlimactic. It's not like a big '80s chorus. It could have used a big '80s chorus. Honestly, I think the song would be better. As much as we kind of rag on generic '80s ballads, I think it would have been a better song if they would have followed the more kind of anthemic chorus of a '80s ballad. There is a good sax solo. Tommy sounds great on it. I don't hate this song. It's decent. It's nothing special, but I mean, there's a lot worse on this album.
Yeah. Oh, we finally got to Ballad Land and a 6 minute one to boot. So does this song warrant 6 minutes of time? No.
No,
If maybe they shortened this up to 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes, it would have been better. But man, dude, this song was boring to me. Lots of sax on the song. Just thinking about this song was putting me to sleep, man. I just frustrated as a Tommy fan. Nature of the Beast. Let's move on from that one.
yeah, I do like this song. This one's a good one. I like this one. It again, pop song. It's not what we want from Tommy at all, but at least here he wrote a good one. I will say that. I think that this is probably one of the either my top two or three songs on the album. Unfortunately, saying that, if it was any other album with good songs on it, this would be at the bottom, and that's sad. But that's where we are with this one. And he sounds great on it, but it's just not what I want to hear when I'm listening to an album that says Tommy Shaw on the front of it.
Yeah, I mean, it has a nice little guitar part in the beginning, which I kind of like. A lot better than the last song, of course. That's not really asking much. I guess this is kind of a ballad or maybe a slow rocker. I don't know what you'd call this, but
It reminds me a lot of Man in the Wilderness.
it does. Yes, it's got a really nice chorus. It isn't bad. You got some more sax, of course. Again, a regular solo would have just really been great on this song, in my opinion. It's just Averageville yet again. So we will close this album out with an appropriately titled one, in my opinion, because this was how I felt reviewing this album, unfortunately. Bad Times.
At least it's short.
Yeah.
At least it's short. It's like 2.5 minutes, and it's just like every other song on this album. It's another pop tune. It's mediocre. Nothing really bad about it, but there's nothing good about it either. That's basically what I have to say, other than like the two songs that I really disliked. That's about what I have to say about this entire album. Just decent, nothing that bad, but nothing good. And it's nothing that I
Exactly.
want to hear from Tommy Shaw. And it
Yeah.
sucks. And I really, really, really hope that we're on the upswing here. And especially since we
We
got a
are.
Dennis DeYoung album coming up next, I'm not, we'll see. But unfortunately, this is up there with Desert Moon and Kilroy Was Here as some of the worst albums that we reviewed on this channel so far. And I hate having to say that.
I do too. Absolutely. Yeah, man. You know what? Sometimes we talk about albums like, oh, this song should have played here, this song could have been here. It doesn't matter with this album. There's no such thing as good placement. Yeah, I can definitely do without this one. I don't get this song at all, much less this whole album. Uh, trying to think of the good parts. There's not. Just when you think there might be something good happening, it just falls flat yet again. The saxophone, I think, just totally overwhelms this album. I know you're a fan of the
Yeah.
sax on this album. I just,
Not all of it. There's
hmm,
certainly songs where it's I think if they had it on one or two songs, I think it would be great, but not on every single song on the album. And I
yeah,
know you have Billy Joel saxophone player producing the album with you, so like you're gonna use saxophone.
true.
But
Yeah, but
even Billy Joel didn't use that much saxophone.
it's just the lack of guitar playing from Tommy on
Yep.
this first two albums, if you think about it. I mean, look at JOI's first album, man. It's fucking just about every one of his songs. Even there's a couple not so good ones, but there's a kick-ass guitar solo in there. But yeah, fuck, man, I'm so disappointed in this album. I do like Girls with Guns a little bit better. I thought I would like this one better. I haven't listened to it in like decades, so very disappointed, and I probably won't listen to it for another couple more decades. As a matter of fact, this may be the last time I listen to this album in my lifetime. We shall see. But yeah, it's a mediocre album, and just like I said, I'm going to continue to say how disappointed I am with Tommy on this album as a fan. Yeah. So that is our review of What If by Tommy Shaw. What if he played more guitar on this album? What if this songs were more rockier? Who knows? We'll never know. But anyway, thank you again, everybody, for your likes, suggestions, what else? Views,
Mm-hmm.
subscriptions,
Yeah. And
whatever. Just
and
thank you.
just so that we're not ending on a sour note with this album, I know that there is a very good album that has an anniversary right around now that I know Jerry wanted to bring up.
Oh, yes, I
He
did.
mentioned,
Paradise Theater turns 45 today, even though it'll be a couple days. This show will come a couple days after this, after we record this. Today is the birthday of this 45th. God, I fucking tripped over. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm just that out. The last album really is distorting my brain. But man, what a great album this is. This was like a gateway album for me in this band, just loaded with great tunes, man. So the last, I think, true Styx album, in my opinion, from the original or the classic lineup. But anyway, Joe, thank you very much. And thank you all out there once again from Heavy Water 77. We thank you, and we will be back for another Dennis DeYoung album next. So take care, everybody. We'll see you then. Bye bye.